there is a massive construction footprint on the edge of Dubai Marina. Steel rises from the scorched earth. Towering cranes still stand frozen against the desert skyline. Laborers have been on that site for months. And yet, if you look closely at the financial architecture surrounding this half-built monolith, you begin to see a reality the glossy 3D renderings never showed. A debt load that expired over a year ago. Subcontractors filing local court liens because their invoices went completely unpaid. A major regional lender that acquired a defaulted bridge loan and filed a foreclosure lawsuit days later. A high-profile celebrity investor suing the developer for what legal documents called deliberate and calculated fraud. And above all of this, bolted to the very concept of the structure, visible in every press release and every VIP sales brochure. A name in 3 silver letters, Mercedes-Benz. The mega project is called Mercedes-Benz Places Dubai. It was engineered to be a hyper-luxury, 2-tower, nearly 800-unit complex. A 67-story mixed-use skyscraper designed by shop architects, complete with a 5-star hotel, 200,000 square feet of premium commercial office space, and 130,000 feet of elite amenities. Units started at $500,000. Aggressively marketed to global expat buyers who genuinely believe that a historic heritage name is an absolute guarantee of completion. That elite automotive name right now is watching the $1 billion project slide into a high-stakes foreclosure battle, from a very safe distance. If you've been tracking this channel, you know this isn't the first time we've witnessed this exact corporate mechanism. We exposed it before with Aston Martin, a luxury automaker, an ambitious local developer, a high-price licensing deal, an eventual financial collapse. The brand collects its multi-million-dollar royalties and walks away clean. What is unfolding right now in Business Bay and the Marina in 2026 is the exact same machine running again. To understand how a billion-dollar tower on the Dubai Marina sands starts to fracture financially, you have to look at the developer behind it. Michael Stern, founder of JDS Development Group. For 2 decades, Stern built a reputation for pushing structural engineering to its absolute limits, commissioning radical firms like shop architects to build impossibly slender skyscrapers. His crown jewel was the ultra-skinny Steinway Tower in New York, a 24-to-1 height-to-width ratio that forced engineers to pioneer advanced mechanical mass dampers just to counteract violent wind sway. But as Stern brought that same aggressive, boundary-pushing ambition to the UAE, the financial scaffolding began to splinter. His past projects were already plagued by defaults. He had to hand back his massive Brooklyn Tower project to lenders after a brutal default, and his super-tall structures faced staggering cost overruns. The legal trail followed him right into the Dubai desert. The engineering timeline for the Dubai project reveals how deep the foundation issues run. JDS acquired the massive premier plot along the Marina waterfront back in 2019 for roughly $24 million. By 2020, local development authorities approved a massive 67-story mixed-use program. To secure the rights, Stern promised to fund a state-of-the-art municipal fire station and inject millions into public infrastructure. Funding began with a $43 million bridge loan, which was quickly refueled in 2022 into a massive $86 million construction loan from Maxim Credit Group. That critical loan carried a hard maturity date slated for late 2023. At that specific moment, the tower was completely unbranded. It was just vast, deep concrete pit in the sand where workers battled brutal heat expansion and complex groundwater shifts on reclaimed coastal land. Then, in February 2024, the game changed. JDS announced a mega partnership with Mercedes-Benz, rebranding the project as Mercedes-Benz Places Dubai. Glossy marketing campaigns hyped the automotive giant's design philosophy of sensual purity, a flawless blend of geometric precision and modern architectural legacy. Off-plan units launched at $500,000, projecting a staggering $2 billion total valuation upon completion. But beneath the luxury marketing, the critical Maxim loan had already matured, unpaid. The developer was trapped in a cycle of short-term extensions, running out of time on the shifting desert sands. What the high-net-worth expat buyers putting down massive deposits didn't know was that the entire tower was built on a legal mirage. The extension pattern on the matured Maxim loan finally hit a dead end on January 15, 2025. The non-negotiable final deadline. The JDS corporate entities defaulted. For over a year, construction secretly sputtered. Then, on March 24, 2026, the hammer dropped. An affiliate of the Cottonwood Group, a ruthless private lender, bought the defaulted debt and immediately filed a massive foreclosure complaint in court. The lawsuit alleges JDS owes $80 million in principal, plus an extra $20 million in interest and penalties. Total damages, $100 million. Worse, the suit names a long list of local subcontractors who have recorded construction liens against the property. These are the engineers and laborers who actually poured the concrete and stabilized the foundations against the shifting water table, and they were left completely unpaid. JDS quickly countersued, claiming Cottonwood violated a strict non-disclosure agreement to hijack the project. While the legal warfare paralyzes the site, real estate brokers across downtown and Dubai Marina are in a state of absolute panic. But this is exactly where the corporate structure of the Mercedes-Benz deal becomes a masterclass in risk evasion. When buyers paid a massive premium for a branded residence, what were they actually purchasing? Legally, nothing but an aesthetic alignment. The contract was signed with Mercedes-Benz Customer Solutions GmbH, the licensing arm. The automotive giant did not invest a single dollar of construction capital. It did not guarantee a dime of the debt. It simply licensed its iconic three-pointed star, collected massive upfront royalties, and verified that the lobby layout matched its brand standard. When a loan defaults, when the desert heat expands unpowered joints, and when the cranes freeze, Mercedes-Benz isn't even in the courtroom. Their liability stops exactly where the license agreement ends. We saw this exact same mechanism play out with the Aston Martin residences down the coast. When structural issues, cracked concrete, and massive pool leaks triggered buyer lawsuits, Aston Martin walked away completely untouched. They kept their royalties. The buyers inherited the structural nightmare. The financial collapse of Mercedes-Benz Places is not happening in a vacuum. It is surrounded by a storm of personal betrayals and bitter legal feuds playing out across the UAE courts right now. To truly understand how toxic the environment has become, you have to look at the explosive fallout between the developer, Michael Stern, and his former ultra-wealthy allies. Enter John Lukavaki, a prominent European entrepreneur and high-stakes investor. In 2024, Lukavaki and Stern formed a massive joint venture, promising to unleash a staggering $4 billion pipeline of luxury developments across Dubai's most elite districts. Lukavaki injected millions of dollars in equity directly into multiple JDS mega projects, including the Mercedes-Benz project and a planned Dolce & Gabbana residential tower in Business Bay. But by December 2025, the alliance shattered. Lukavaki's investment entity filed a blistering lawsuit in court against Stern, accusing him of executing a calculated, deliberate fraud. The core of the accusation centers on an elite coastal condo hotel project on the Dubai waterfront. The lawsuit alleges that Stern presented a glowing, independent, third-party valuation, claiming the land parcel was worth well over $200 million, inducing Lukavaki to hand over a $2.5 million cash investment. In reality, the lawsuit claims that valuation was completely fabricated, drawn up internally by JDS's own development director to secure the cash injection. When Lukavaki demanded official corporate certificates proving his ownership stake was legally recorded, Stern allegedly refused. The chaos doesn't stop there. In a separate, bizarre legal twist, Stern's own corporate defense attorneys abruptly withdrew from a high-profile defamation case he had launched against an anonymous whistleblower website called JDS Pulse, which has been aggressively tracking and publishing fraud allegations against him. The lawyers cited irreconcilable differences and walked away, leaving the developer to fight the escalating exposure without counsel. This is the chaotic backdrop behind the man whose signature is on every structural permit and corporate shell company tied to this half-built skyscraper. While wealthy expat buyers were told they were investing in the legendary precision of German engineering, they were actually fueling a high-wire financial balancing act that has completely run out of rope. The premium they paid for that iconic silver badge wasn't funding concrete and steel. It was funding a web of litigation, leaving early buyers holding nothing but an unfulfilled promise on a stalled piece of reclaimed land. Where does Mercedes-Benz Places stand as we cross into mid-2026? The Cottonwood foreclosure action moves relentlessly through the Dubai courts, countered by JDS's bitter breach of contract lawsuit. JDS claims it is scrambling to secure a massive $750 million refinancing package to save the tower. But no lender has stepped forward to sign. Meanwhile, the skeleton of the building sits exposed to the brutal desert elements. On reclaimed coastal soil, uncompleted structures face severe risks. From groundwater infiltration destabilizing the foundations to extreme heat expansion warping unshielded glass facades. With half-built units sitting empty, glass fatigue and joint leaks become an expensive inevitability rather than a distant threat. The cranes remain frozen against the marina skyline. The glossy sales center still tries to project confidence, but the completion date has already slipped from 2027 to 2028. Buyers who poured millions into these off-plan units are left watching a legal train wreck, realizing that the three-pointed star on the brochure was never a shield against development failure. Mercedes-Benz Customer Solutions GmbH continues to collect its royalties from a completely insulated distance. Their chief design officer will not be answering for unpaid contractors or cracked concrete. The marketing promised German reliability and a legacy for the UAE skyline. The reality, preserved in cold court dockets, is a defaulted bridge loan, stalled engineering, and a mountain of debt. It is a stark reminder for the global elite flocking to Dubai's luxury real estate market. When you buy into a branded skyscraper, you are paying a premium for the illusion of safety. But when the financial architecture collapses, the brand walks away with its name, and you are left holding the sand.